Hey guys, have you ever showed up at an RV show and you're like, wow, this is so cool, and I wonder how they get all these RVs inside this building? We get that question all the time at the RV show. There is so much that goes into making it really fun for people to come and visit. I mean, not only do we move in all these RVs, we decorate them, we put up these colorful signs. You guys just wander in like nothing ever happened. And behind the scenes, we are all working so hard. So we thought we would bring you behind the scenes at an RV show. So if you ever want to know what really happens before you get there, maybe a little during and some after, stay tuned because we're going to talk to the show promoters of Austin RV Expo. Welcome to RV Small Talk, where we talk about lightweight trailers. What do we talk about? We talk about truck campers and all the people, places, and adventures that go along with them. We're your host from Princess Craft RV. I'm PJ.
And I'm drinking a Bloody Mary.
Yes, we all are drinking Bloody Marys because Jennifer and Leslie are joining us, our show promoters. And I mean, we just had to celebrate. We have friends in the office.
Also, we're done with the RV show. That's something to celebrate.
Yeah. So, we're just going to jump right in because, I don't know, we love chatting with these people and maybe you will too. So, you guys introduce yourself because if I do it, it's going to be all messed up. I'm going to get it wrong, okay?
I'm Jennifer McKinney. I'm the executive director for the Austin RV Expo for 18 years now.
18 years.
I started when I was 4.
You're so advanced.
There were no labor laws then.
And she's so quiet. I've never heard you talk that quiet before.
I'm a zombie this week. We're tired. We haven't had days off yet.
I know. It's exhausting, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And the RV show today is Friday. So the RV show ended 5 days ago and you guys are still hustling to get everything done.
To get it all done, yeah.
All right.
Wrapping it up.
Who are you?
And Leslie.
My name is Leslie Jones, and I am the Vendor and Programs Director of the Austin RV Expo.
Is that your official title? I never knew.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We just knew you were the go-to.
I thought you were like the media manager.
I also do the social media as a separate job. But yeah.
Oh, how many jobs do you have?
In total?
Her eyes just got so big.
What?
Wow.
Well, with the expo, more like just 2. In real life, like 20. I don't know.
Well, when you guys got here today, we asked how long you'd known each other, and you told me like this great story. Can I hear that again? Because I thought it was absolutely hilarious. It's so Austin.
It's very, yeah. I moved here in 2004 from Arkansas, and I didn't know anybody. I'd never been here. I didn't have a job, but I'd bartended, so I knew I could get a job anywhere. And I moved here in May, and I met Leslie at the bar that I got a job at that May 5th. And
You even know the day?
it was Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, so there was some celebrating going on.
Yep.
That's why
so
you
I met her there, and Jackie, who works the will call at the show sometimes and has forever, I met her then too. Yeah.
Wow.
We're like the mafia. You can't get out. Really can't.
There's no escape.
There's no escape.
And then when you changed jobs?
Yeah, we that bar changed management, and so we all left. There were only 7 of us. We're all still pretty tight, that 7 crew. I went and found a job somewhere else, and Leslie had a job at a different bar that she did not like, and I got a job at this bar that was a little more our style. It was a dive bar.
What was the name of it?
Star Bar. It was Star Bar before they renovated.
Star Bar.
Before they renovated, when it was the smokiest bar in Texas. It was.
I think the Poodle Dog was right up there.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. So I got a job there. I met the manager one night, and she said, "We're not really hiring, but you're funny, so I'll hire you." I said, "Well, there's 2. She said, "Well, we don't really need 2. I said, "Well, there's 2, and her name's Leslie, and she'll be here Monday too." Leslie quit her other job immediately.
So how did you start? How did you move from bars to RVs? They're very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah.
But,
we have a lot in common.
Yes.
What the heck happened?
I graduated college in 2001 in August, and 9/11 happened right after that. So there weren't really any jobs. So I kept waiting tables. I'd done that through college. and I worked at the Convention and Visitors Bureau in Little Rock, which is basically the marketing team for the city to get tourist travel. And I liked that, but they offered me $23,000 and a cell phone.
And a cell phone.
And a
that
cell phone.
tipped it over the edge, right?
And I was like, I just don't think I want to stay in Little Rock this bad. And so I was looking for a change and moved here and then got into the bar business. And I worked 2 jobs until I was 32. I always had a bar job. And then started working for the Convention and Visitors Bureau in Austin. Mm-hmm. And I was working for the Sports Commission, part of that. But sales was the only upward mobility there, and that just really wasn't my thing. And my boss at the time knew Don Canada, and Don tried to hire me, and I did not know what a boat or an RV show was. I'd never done that in my life, but I was in event management, and he kept taking me to fancy lunches.
That's the Don Canada I know.
Yes, he would show up and just be like, "I'm outside. You need to come do this." And so the terms kept changing to where I would like them. And I did that. And that was in 2006. Yeah.
So he courted you and said,
he did. And I was poor.
Have to
and
come.
I liked crab cakes.
And you said, okay, but I'm bringing somebody.
No. Well, Leslie started with the shows in 2007. The first RV show as the group it is now was in 2007. And Leslie worked the will call then. Yeah. So she's been doing it as long as me. And Jackie did too. Yeah. And she's always like, what do you have I can do one day a week? She has a whole profession, but she only likes to do that 4 days a week. And so she always likes to do whatever I've got for her to do one day a week to mix it up. It's the mafia.
I think it is. Well, they say you have to know somebody. So you guys know each other. So you just kind of make that work, right?
Yeah. Well, and Leslie, our strengths are different, and it really is a full circle. She's much better. She's so good with people, and she's so good doing the programming and those seminars. And she gets to know a lot of these people outside of the show, and the vendors, and they love her. And the musicians, and so that's been really great. And I handle the media, I handle the dealers, I handle the contract negotiations, I handle all of that other stuff, and then she runs with the other stuff.
So what's people wrangler?
Yes.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah,
which is
I'm retired from people wrangling.
Well, I don't know. I heard dealers in there. That's kind of people wrangling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're sometimes people. We try to pretend we're human. Yeah. So what's the hardest part? I mean, what's the piece that you're like, oh man, this is the struggle every year?
Brochures. Oh, you weren't asking me.
I wasn't asking you.
Go ahead.
But I'll ask you next.
I don't know.
I mean, is there one piece of it that you're just like, once we nail this, we feel like we've arrived?
Floor plan for you?
Yeah. I mean, I always want to tweak the floor plan, but it's 250,000 square feet. And so there's really no such thing as tweaking it. And I work on it every year, and then we end up kind of back the same place where we are. Yeah. It just takes a lot of people to agree to move that much around. Mm-hmm. But I always want to improve on that. I always am trying to get the media buy right. And it's so hard because things change over a year after year after year.
Right.
And, we do some things really well. And then you're like, well, that could have been improved on. And so much of it's digital now, which is great because it's trackable. Mm-hmm. But then you could see where you fell, where before you were like, well, we bought the ads on TV. That's all you could tell.
Yeah.
But now you can really track everything. So I'm always trying to improve on that. I always worry about the things I have no control over, like the big weather event in February. I'm always terrified that's going to happen. That's when I start losing sleep over in January.
Yeah. This was the first year that we did not have ice or big rain,
mud piles,
or
snow.
freezing.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, freezing weather. It was beautiful weather. It was great setting up. Let's back up just a little bit. You talked about the struggle with the floor plan. Mm-hmm. Customers all the time ask me, well, how many dealers are here? How come more dealers don't come to the show? So can you explain how that works and what the struggle is? Because I'm pretty biased and I might not tell it straight.
Well, our rules for the show that PJ owns part of, state that you have to have a dealership in the Austin area. So we have all local dealers. We're not missing anyone. Not everybody in the show is owner of the show. So we do let outside dealers that are not, part of the group in if they're local, but that's the stipulation. So we got a lot of asks for a certain type of van that there's not even a dealer in Texas for. Texas says you have to have a dealer license in Texas to show.
Girl, I know.
So
Guess who handles the licenses around here?
So we'll get inquiries every year from a small van company in Colorado that would like to show, and it's just against the law here. But then our show, we don't allow people to come from Waxahachie or, Dallas or El Paso into our show. That's the rules that you guys have said, which keeps it, fair and local. But it means we don't always have all the brands.
And, I think that is a misconception that a lot of people have, is that they think they're going to the show, they can see one of everything. And you can't really see one of everything, but you can see a lot of variety, but it's going to be purchasable near you. Is that fair? Serviceable near you.
So is that how, maybe you don't know, but is that how all shows work? Where people can't travel from other places? Some shows are different, and you could have somebody come from another town?
Yes. So Houston show, which is a big show, they don't have a stipulation on where you come from. So they'll have two people in the show showing and selling the exact same product because there's no geographic limit on where they can come in from.
And that's the show's rules. So it's our show rules that you have to have service and sales in the Austin area.
And you can only bring things that you are licensed to sell at that dealership.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
because some people will have
to sneak a couple
multiple.
in.
Yeah, they would have dealerships
locations, and they'll
Right.
try to bring things that they have licensed at another location. We can't catch that, obviously, all the time, but usually another dealer will tell on them.
Right, because then there's another dealer there selling the same thing.
So that's the part of the managing I do with the dealers. But yeah, it has to be licensed at that particular location.
I remember when we debated that, and our show was not always owned by a couple of dealers like it is now. So all shows are owned by somebody, and sometimes the shows are owned by the promoter. The promoter says, I'm going to put on a show. Here's my rules. Would you like to join me? And then sometimes it's owned by dealers in the area. So all shows are a little different. You just never know what you're going to get.
And the dealer-owned show protects the dealers. It's more favorable to those dealers, but you have a lot more control. Like, I'm contracted to do your show. You could contract someone else to do it. You could hire an employee to do it.
We would never.
It's just, that's how it is. Because you own your show, you have a lot more say over how the marketing goes, what moving around the floor plan. So you guys are the boss.
So you work for us?
I do.
Wow.
I know.
Feels so powerful. Give me that Bloody Mary back. I'm just kidding.
No.
She's deducting it from our bill.
All of the dealers will split this equally.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we don't pay for the show. There's a lot of expenses. We
100%.
we started with floor plan. And, the struggle is how to divide up the floor space between the dealers. And
traffic patterns change, and everybody wants the best space. I want everybody to be successful. But it's changed because, where Ron Hoover is in our show right now was a space I couldn't give away 3 years ago.
And now it's where everybody walks
Now
in.
it's 65% of the traffic comes in that door.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted that space.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Right.
And now it's the best space. But because of the city and parking garages, the traffic pattern has changed. That's not something obviously we can control, but it does make me want to change the 10s because they're not in the door anymore. The door that has the most traffic, which, they suffer, and we want everybody to be successful. So there's a lot of thought that has to go into that between now and next year, if it's feasible to move some things around.
But then you have to get dealers to move their space around and maybe give up a little bit, scoot over, move back. And man, it's tough because we don't want to get smaller than we were last year. But if somebody else wants more space, where's it going to come from? And then sometimes we can only get part of the convention center. Do you remember those days?
Yeah, those were tough.
Oh my gosh.
It was tough.
Everybody had to shrink down, and then we kind of had this free for all on how to divide up the space. Oof.
I know.
It's tough. It's
challenging.
very
Every
tough.
year is something different. We never go into it thinking we've got this formula. It's going to be awesome. Like we know what we're doing. Because there's always going to be something that comes up and you're like, oh crap. So, I mean, but if it wasn't challenging, we wouldn't have to be there, right? We could just write everything down on a piece of paper and drop it off at the convention center and go about our merry way. But that's, there's a lot that goes on in the meantime to try to when we get to that week, things are organized, things are ready. And we've done all this thought process to try to figure out the best way for everybody to be successful.
So if you weren't there, who would I text every hour with my complaints? I mean, I would not be happy. I would have to say the music is too loud. These people
I think
are
I got
in my
one
booth.
complaint this year from you, which was one we were also having when you had said the music is very weird right now. We had just said the same thing. We were like, what is happening?
You texted back, explain what you mean by weird.
I didn't know if you meant the sound
Are
or
you
if you meant
listening?
the Yes.
Are you listening to this?
I didn't know if you meant the speakers were wonky in your area or the actual music, because we were talking about the music was weird. I was like, maybe there's a speaker down. I was trying to just
with like house beats behind it.
It was,
and I'm not going to lie.
It took a turn.
I was kind of into it. I was kind of into it, but not when I was trying to sell RVs. I mean, it was just like,
okay,
like, yeah,
Shania
so this
Twain
trailer
with some
here,
EDM.
Kenny Rogers at Know When to Hold 'Em at warp speed with a box speed.
The house beat.
I mean, it sounds kind of fun, but there's a time and place for everything.
And
we had just talked about, we were like, this is going in a direction we did not expect it. And then you texted and I was like, I really was thinking, is her speaker weird? Like, is she having a sound issue? And you're like, no, it's just weird. I was like, okay, yes, I agree.
We were all walking around, even the customers, everybody was just kind of looking at each other like
what's happening
It
here?
sounded like 2 different songs.
Yes. And then at one point he did play 2 different songs. And I was like, please stop. My ADHD brain is not
These
happy.
are the challenges we face on site when you're dealing with artists too, because we've had him before and we like what he does out and about in Austin, and he's going in a new direction, which we were not aware of. He decided to test it at the RV show.
At the RV show.
And it's on the PA throughout the entire thing. And then also you can't really say to an artist, hey, can you skip this song? We don't like this.
Can you do what you did last year?
So we just say, let's just turn it down. Let's just turn it down.
No. Oh, it was awful.
Oh, but
the
that
music
kind of
is
stuff.
our number one thing that we hear from everybody about, always. But it was that way when it was just an iPad. It's always a thing.
Right, because you can't. Music is one of those things you're never going to please everybody. But
It matters where you are and where the speakers are over you.
Mm-hmm.
I also have to tell you that I look forward to the playlist every year because
so good
it
right
has
now.
expanded. It has grown.
You take pride in it.
But it's on Spotify. You can find it. It's called RV Show Jams with a Z.
Shut up! I can find it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Because I wait every year to hear Cherry Bomb. Don't you ever take that song off the playlist?
Request that. Paul and Mike request that at least 3 times a day.
Oh, that's
because
great.
every time it goes off, I'm like, it's Cherry Bomb time.
Oh, yeah. They love
it
it.
makes me so
we all
happy.
scream, Cherry Bomb.
They love it too. Yeah. That has to be on the list.
And I don't listen to that song any of the other time of the year, but at the RV show time, I know I'm going to hear Cherry Bomb, and it makes me really happy. So the number one question I get from customers is like, whoa, how do you get all of these units in and out of here? So let's talk about load in, because that sounds like it's just a beep show. See, I did it for you.
She's doing her own beeps. What fun is that? Yes, Clint, we need you. Just like we need Jennifer at the show. When the music goes totally left, we need to go, what?
Do you know how many units? Do you have it on the top of your head?
Yeah, it's a little over 400.
Holy beep.
And Leslie just runs a forklift for a solid week and a half, moving them all in.
Wait, I was like,
Everybody but y'all.
I was there.
Wait, Cody is going to be offended.
Yes. But it all
His
happened
12 hours on a forklift was
so quickly.
It's about 2.5 days to get in and 7 hours to get out. Totally.
What
we
is
were
it
out
like?
in 6 hours this year.
Organizing who goes where, when, trailer doors, things.
You know, if this were my first year, I think that would be a little more intimidating. But they understand the logistics of it all. And the thing is that it's very organized, and I know other shows are not as stickler to the move-in schedule as we are, but it allows for people to have a proper time and space. So if we let everyone move in behind you guys that same day, you don't get the time and space that you deserve, and they don't get their time and space. So y'all have one day. The people, we move it in based on who's the loading docks on one side of the building. Whoever's on the other opposite wall moves in day 1. Whoever's up against the loading dock moves in day 2. Everyone asks every year if they can start early. Everyone asks every year.
Did I
ask every year?
Did I ask if I could start early? So not everyone.
Well, she did want to get the forklift in a day early.
I did have to get, my
But you weren't the only one.
My
That
trailer
sort of stuff's
donation
easy.
crapped out on me.
No, that's easy stuff. But the people that move in behind you would like to start that day. They would like to just drop off a few things. They would, we all know the program, and I have no problem saying no. Because it's about respecting your time and space. That is your time to get what you need to get done, and they are going to get their time. So we are stricter on the move in and move out schedule. And I hear that more and more as we have dealers that are kind of becoming conglomerates and we don't have to deal with this anywhere else. I'm like, well, I'm sorry for them, because I don't know any other way to do it.
It's so
without
organized,
chaos.
though.
Right.
It's so organized. And load out, everybody says, how in the world do you get all these trailers out? I said, we have to be out by midnight. And they're like, no way. And I said, yes way. It is pretty crazy how organized it is. I guess we're not to load out yet, but.
Oh, well. And it's not our first rodeo either. So we know what to expect. And I have had it where I've had a day to move in and then a day to set up. But I've also had it where I only had one day to move in and set up. And we handle it very differently. Mm-hmm. It is certainly... excuse me. It is certainly much easier to move in 74 trailers and set them up on one day. And then the next day we put the jacks down. We find all the signs. We put up trees. We put, placemats and plates out. We hang lights. We put awnings out. We have to level them. Mm-hmm. I mean, 74 trailers, that's a lot. And then we have to deal with the electricians that are coming to set up our electrical. And that takes a while. And then something's always wrong. And then the security people come by to check the propane. They checked us 4 times that I know of.
Only 4?
Only 4.
Y'all got lucky.
But when we have to go through and open all these compartments over and over and over.
There was conversations had on site, and there will be I'll have a meeting with the center about it this week.
We are being too safe, guys.
Yeah.
Too safe.
It's like
way too safe.
Way too safe.
It is
just
so
a time
much
suck.
work to set it up.
Yeah,
I know. It's just a time suck, and I don't know. That's a whole other podcast on safety and security.
And dealing with the convention center.
Yeah. Do you know a lot now about rules and regulations of propane inside
you didn't get
buildings?
the 4 different documents that they sent me that I
No,
passed on? There was
I
actually
got
a
all of
I
that.
totally read all of them.
There was a PowerPoint presentation included.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go back and look at it just for funsies now.
Oh yeah, PowerPoint.
I mean, what else is there to know besides take the propane out? Never mind. Okay, I will. Sorry.
Do not know.
If all kinds of city regulations were that easy.
I know. Anyway,
but we got 74 trailers in, and we got them placed for the most part
No, it looked
the first
awesome.
day.
Yeah.
The first day. But then that's as far as we get. That second day is still brutal, just trying to get everything put together. Mm-hmm. And, when it rains and they're covered in mud, then we have to bring in more teams of people to wipe them down, to get all the dirt off, to get this closed, get that fixed.
this isn't about your job. This is
It's
about
just-
their job.
No, it's but
I mean, that's what it takes to get these in there.
it does.
Yeah.
And then you think about you're doing this for 2 days for probably 12 to 16 hours for 2 days, and then you're expected to smile and sell
4 days straight.
smile and sell for 4 days. And then do it on the back end to get them all out, and there are a couple dealerships that have separate teams, sales and service team, but
sounds
that's
nice.
not, and that's not all of them.
Right.
And I mean, everybody's just like, it's just so hard to not expend all your energy getting it set up so that you have energy to do the show.
I always tell people load out is brutal because it's like you have worked so hard and you are completely beaten down. And then you have to do the hardest part once you're the most tired.
On the
and
last day.
It's brutal. And we had a moment in loadout.
We may have played favorites.
We had a moment where I'm sitting in a truck,
Lindsay,
and she was like,
come with
Lindsay,
me.
pull up in front of all these trucks and I'll get you in there first. You know, the funny thing about that.
I heard people yelling, why does Lindsay get to go? And I just looked at him like, don't you ask me any questions.
And then all 4 of the trucks that I got to cut in front of left the building before me. So it didn't even matter, but that wasn't anybody's fault. It just happened like that. And I was just laughing, watching them all leave. And I was just like, dang it. But yeah, it's loadout is brutal. And I feel like that's like, I don't know, like the last moment in a marathon when you're like about to fall over, but you just like dig really deep down, like, and being super dramatic. But it is, you just have to like dig really deep to pack everything up. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, and go. Yeah. You go home and you're just like dizzy.
I love Leslie so much that she leaves the convention center before 5 every year. She's never seen loadout.
What?
I'm so proud of you.
She takes care of me.
She's there throughout the whole thing. She stays late every night and she deals with the stuff on the floor. And so she's out of there.
That's good job.
Hashtag blessed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hashtag self-love. Take care of yourself.
Well, also, that is the time when the dealers are sideways, and we have had screaming and yelling and pretty much close to fist fights. Mm-hmm. So it is a very stressful time, and we're all exhausted. Exhausted. You know, every dealer sets up an entire office. I mean, we're talking entire office. Books, fax machines. We've got phones. We've got everything you would have. Fax machines, no. Remember when we used to have fax machines? We have copy machines. That's what printers.
Yeah. You set up
not
the whole
fax
office,
machines.
which has to be broken down by somebody else. And
yeah, entire offices.
Somebody had to get escorted out by security last year during move out. There was a fight, and security stopped my move out until I dealt with it.
Whoa.
So I marched up the ramp and I was like, you come with me. And he was about 45 and he looked very scared. And I was like, and I just walked him out the gate and he said, what am I doing? I said, you are no longer in this building. And I don't know if you have a job and that's not my problem. And I just went back to what I was doing. And Mike Regan called me. He goes, what happened? I was like, I think I just fired one of your people. I'm not sure. You can deal with it tomorrow, but he's not stopping my move out. Okay, thanks. Bye. He was like, fair enough. Okie dokie.
It does. It gets crazy. Well,
it gets crazy.
That's 400 units to get out of there. And
there's always a slide that's not going to go in. There's always one that's not going to start to get the jacks up. You know, that's going to happen every time.
Right.
Every time.
Well, you're such a nice lady.
What?
But I have seen you in RV show mode.
Well, the move out.
And
We
I've
have
had
7
to,
hours.
yeah, I've had to tell people, no, she doesn't hate you. She's just in the middle of like,
this is business. I usually am nice the first time I tell you.
No, you're
that you
super
cannot
nice.
come in yet. And it's not because I hate you. It's because I don't have anywhere to put you. It does not behoove me to delay this. I would like to go home too.
yeah, we all want to go home.
I don't have anywhere for you to go.
Yeah, we
And then
can't
you ask
get
me again
through to get in.
And I'm like I said, I know where you are. I promise I'll come get you. And then the third time you just get a stare. No words.
the death stare.
That usually works.
Mike told me that his drivers were afraid of me this year. And I gave
Good.
myself a high five.
Yeah.
All right. I hear that sometimes too.
We were out by 11.
Yeah, it was the best loadout
It was the best.
ever. It was amazing.
We're not scheduled to actually get a truck in the building until 7, but I think we got in between 6 and 6:30, and we were out by 11. 74 trailers.
was
We
amazing.
packed up 2 toy haulers with all our plants and papers and lights and signs and equipment.
And chips. There
And-
was a lot of chips
Yeah,
in that trailer.
Leslie, you
It's a
should
lot
sit
of
around next
everything.
year.
You know,
It's so fun.
I have done move out on a golf cart one year, but I think it was in my will call days.
Yeah.
Not since I got promoted.
So tell me
I
about
couldn't even
your
tell
job.
Leslie bye. She was out.
Yeah.
I was like, are you leaving? She's like, I'm in my car.
I'm already gone. I am in bed.
I'm not leaving. I have left.
When does your job start and what does it look like before the show?
I start in August because we start planning the super sale, right, which is in the fall. And then, I don't know, I end in like May. So I have a few months off in the summer.
And do you start with like Facebook ads or contacting vendors?
Oh, it's kind of a process. Yeah, I mean, we just start in August. We'll just start nailing out our goal post, right? So yeah, usually it's the event. It's contacting vendors. It's getting emails together. It's updating all of our mini spreadsheets.
Are you a spreadsheet person?
Jennifer,
I guess you have to be if you're in charge of the
You
fund.
have Excel school.
I didn't do very well.
Are you a freak in the sheets? Do you need to get you that shirt?
She wouldn't organize it by alphabet. I sent it to Excel school.
I know how to do that now, at least.
I don't know. Anything spreadsheet done, I just send to Caitlin. And I say, here, make this happen.
Like, if you love me, you'll go to this.
Oh.
It was like
Did you get a certificate?
I don't remember.
Trophy?
She knows how to organize it. Alphabet. That's all I need.
It's all, yeah, I can do that
Money
now.
well spent.
Well, Sue joined us recently and, well, a while, I mean, over a year ago. But for the show we did in Beaumont, she did this beautiful spreadsheet and it has all these jobs and all these checkoffs and all these names. Lindsay looks at me a week before the show and says, do I have to use that? I said, Lindsay, we're so close now. Just do whatever you do because it works. And she's like, good, I'm not touching it. And so we don't have any spreadsheets. We have our checkoff sheets. Everybody takes a corner. Everybody pitches in. I mean, it just feels like we all know what to do. And, you know, the other group is like, okay, you're in charge of drivers. Okay, you're in charge of staging all the units. All right, you're in charge of setup. You need to be sure the forklift is down there. We all know what we have to do to get it going. And then we get there and we're like, did you do that? Because
I thought it was your job.
I didn't see it in the trailer. And we're like, okay, next run.
We need a spreadsheet.
It's tough. It's a lot to wrangle.
And I don't have everything written down, and I should, but I don't. And
don't
much
beat
of it's
yourself
by
up.
Memory.
Yeah.
And so then there's the what am I forgetting? And there's usually something. We had to rush badges this year because I forgot to order them. But I don't know if I could write it all down. Really,
You probably could.
it's
a lot.
It sounds like a lot of work, though. You know, isn't there enough work?
seems like a lot.
No, isn't there enough work already?
Next year.
Don Canada used to get, he would always go for the beginning of move-in. Probably until the last 5 years that I worked for Don Canada when I started doing this. And then I bought the business from him in 2017. So he was a great mentor. I still see him. I adore him. He's retired now. Just drinking Michelob Ultras all day.
Shout out to Don. Great guy. Got our show straightened out for sure. Yes.
So he would always want a floor plan, move-in schedule, kind of like the things. And I was like, well, I have all that for you. And he's like, I need my own copy. And I was like, he said, what if you get in a wreck on the way there? I said, what do you mean? He goes, the show must go on, Jennifer.
Oh my God.
I need my own copy. I was like,
Goodness.
oh my good God. It's true. But I have multiple copies of everything now. I'm like, well, hopefully somebody finds this. And they know.
If I get in a car wreck,
If there's a car wreck on the way, right?
That's what he would tell me. Don minced 0 words. He did not waste words on small talk. He did not waste words on saying anything he didn't mean.
That's right.
That's
Dead
awesome.
serious.
And he said everything he meant.
Everything.
Everything that went in came out.
Came out.
Still does, I suspect.
Oh, yes.
I want to know what your favorite part of the show is besides when it's over.
Because I secretly love Move Out. I really love it. I love the chaos.
What?
I do. I love it.
I mean, I like the busy chaos moments of my life.
Everybody gets that extra bit of energy you were talking about, and everybody's in a good mood because we're,
Except for that one guy you had to kick out.
well,
But
RIP. That was not my choice.
we didn't need that negative energy in the
I love
building.
right when we get open on Thursday.
Yeah.
There's just this deep breath of like, we made it. It's happening.
I know. I know.
I do like that moment.
There is, once the show opens, I think people probably don't realize how tired everyone is. And if you're a really large corporate dealership, you may have like a bunch of salespeople that are fresh that just showed up to sell for you. In the smaller dealerships like ours, whereas we don't look that small, we set up the show with all of our salespeople, all of our marketing staff, half our service, set up the show. By the time the door opens, I mean, I feel like I already ran the marathon, and it takes a little while to get past that first wake up. And you never know what it's going to be like. Sometimes the doors open on Thursday at noon, and there is this flood of people. And sometimes
there was busiest first hour on Thursday in a while.
It was crazy.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, all right, showtime. And it feels like the curtain goes up,
Yeah.
And all
there's always
the work shows up.
technology issues at the door on Thursday. Always. I'm just at
logging in tickets or finding
we use the Shriners as our ticket takers. They get volunteer hours, and then it goes. So they're great to work with, but they haven't touched any of this stuff in a year, and so it's always there's about 15 minutes of chaos at the doors, and I can only be at one place at one time, which is also an issue. So there's 2 doors, and I can be at one to help them. Usually Jackie's at the other. But once that gets settled, it's about 12:10, and then I'm like, ugh. Don used to always come to the show at noon every Thursday for all of the shows we did and have a beer with me.
He did.
Like our Thursday beer. He would drive in from Lakeway, have a beer, and go home. He's like, well, I've seen all I need to see. And he would go home.
Been here, done that.
Yes. But we don't do that because we've got a really long day. I'm like, it sounds like a good idea, but I'm going to get really sleepy.
That'll make me roll. Yeah.
But in spirit, I'm having a beer on Thursday because we're
celebrating the opening.
Yes, exactly.
We're halfway there.
What's your favorite part?
Well, I don't really get to sell here. That's not my job.
Right.
So when I ask people if they want to buy the trailer and they say yes, usually I do it a lot more
Smoother.
Yeah. than that. But the rush of selling things and being like, oh my gosh, there's lights and music and I said things and people listen to me and then they actually
it worked.
They are confident in buying this trailer, and it's always really fun, even though all the salespeople here, my goodness.
I know, I'm so sorry.
All the salespeople here work as a team, so it doesn't even matter who sells it, but for some reason when it just feels like I put a mark on the board, we have like a whiteboard in the back that shows like everything that we've sold at the show, and I think it's part competition and part just like look at us go kind of thing, and it feels really good to like write a unit on the board and be like, I set up the show, now I'm making the business money. Like, I don't know, it just feels
that's exciting.
And you're getting the customers something that they came for. Customers show up, many of them trying to figure out what to buy. So it kind of feels like, of course, that's the reason you're there, but you're actually accomplishing something because you've had probably 3 or 4 days of 12-hour days or more of nothing but stress and mostly physical labor.
Yeah. And then out of all the trailers, they chose ours. I don't know.
It does kind of feel like a win. But we started that big whiteboard back in our office because things move so fast, we have to figure out what's sold.
Right.
Many times at a show, we only have one of those trailers. And so if it sells, everybody needs to know. And we tried putting a sold sign on it, but we're not very fast or very good at it. We should be.
Tape is hard.
But things go... Yeah, paper and tape, it's just sometimes above our pay grade. And it goes really fast. So, and then... I tell you what, my favorite part of this show was I had somebody come in that I spent about an hour and a half with on Thursday, maybe 2 hours, looking at 3 different trailers, and they were so different. So then they said, okay, I'll bring my wife tomorrow. And so I gave him 2 tickets, came back the next day with his wife. We looked at 3 more trailers, 2 of the same ones, talked about all the differences, went through the details, and they said, okay, we need to think about it. Gave them 2 more tickets. They left, came back the next day on Saturday, spent 2 more hours and bought the trailer that they felt really confident in. And they're like, it's so good to have this show. We can see so many things. We can compare. We can be sure this makes sense to us. And the reps are there so they can help you and talk about all the details. I don't know. I was just, when you see things like that happen, it makes the show really worthwhile because it's tough to get that experience when you're shopping on a dealer's lot. You always wonder, is this one guy trying to sell me something? Can I, it just feels different. Shows are just really fun.
A friend asked me, what is the benefit of a show? And I told her,
I can't make them quit calling me, sorry.
That the reps are there. They know every bolt and screw about these units. Also, when you go, obviously everybody's in one place. That's easy, right? One-stop shopping. But when you go lot to lot, these units are not set up with power. The slides are not out. They're not decorated with place settings. You really get to walk in each unit at its best.
Yeah.
It was like all at the same time. I was like, some of our dealers still have dirt lots and you're out there in 95 degrees and but that's just the way it is. So that's the part of the show that is so much prep. Is cleaning and staging. You stage like open house every one of these RVs for that time, and you're really seeing them all at their best. And I think that's the best reason to go. And I do think it's a lower pressure sales environment for a consumer because you can go see everything you want and you can talk to somebody or you cannot. You can say hello, but you're not in an enclosed dealership situation where they have to escort you to everything.
Yeah.
If you want hands off, no pressure, go to the show and you can meet people if you choose or if you don't choose. Some people
just
are
look
weird
around.
about that. Yeah. I think people come to the show 2 years before they buy.
I think so too, definitely. And you get to eat a really bad hot dog that costs too much.
Delicious.
And you get live music. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
That's right.
That
Leslie
popcorn.
does all the music. She does all the seminars. She works so hard on that stuff. And it's important. People email in about it all the time. What's the seminars? Do you have a music schedule?
Cool.
Yeah.
So why didn't the Merles come this year? Do we not like them anymore?
Oh, the Merles?
Because I have hired them for the rally.
So it's been a delicate balance with the music booking. And I keep trying to, another thing I keep trying to improve each year because I want everyone to be able to sell. Right. And that's the thing. If we have a full band, the volume's kind of hard to control when it's.
Okay,
the
that's
convention
true.
center is still a concrete building.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, and I don't know a lot of shows that have live music.
Yeah.
But,
Very Austin.
It's very Austin.
but this is Austin, right?
Yeah.
I love that you guys do that. But then it's a delicate balance because, I mean, I just have to say, sometimes when you're out there trying to be enthusiastic, it is the 11th hour, you're exhausted, and we've got whiny singer-songwriters for the last 2 hours.
It's hard.
It is shoot me now. I am dying out
It's a
there.
hard balance of trying to see what's going to sound right in there.
Right.
What's going to meet the energy. And then
Right.
somebody we've hired that played a totally different show last time.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we get this and you're like, well, okie dokie. So she works really hard on that and listens to all the feedback. I mean, that's what the most feedback that nobody is scared to say is how they feel about the music.
So you just get it all.
Which is fine.
Do people complain like in the moment?
Oh, to me, I get it from the dealers. I don't get it
Yeah.
from consumers.
And the vendors too, though.
The vendors.
Because they're trying to
hear.
sell as well, and they're closer to the stage, versus some people. So yeah, everyone has feedback.
So do
Feedback.
dealers complain about the full bands because they're too loud?
That's been a problem in the past, just because it's getting fed into the whole convention center. So just the way that is fed into the speaker system can be really hard to control.
Does anybody else complain about the whiny singer-songwriters?
Yes.
Well,
this
yeah.
year is the first year.
Yeah.
Last year, loved it.
Loved. I mean, and that's the thing.
This year,
Last year, another person. I mean, she played the same set. People loved
know who
it
you're
last
talking
year. Yeah.
No,
And then
I was talking about me. I was not a fan.
No, I know exactly.
we know. Yeah.
Which performer?
But it was a different set than we'd seen before.
Yeah.
And,
Who knows?
We just work on that stuff every year. It's
Yeah.
very...
But then you'll see the
And
guests or the people that are coming to the show and they're blown away by that person's voice or
Yes.
like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, I can't believe that's a real person singing, you know, like, so it differs between everybody.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Well, you try to make all those people happy. How many people came to the Austin RV show?
Just over 9,000.
So
Wow.
9,000 people come through.
Yeah.
You're not going to make them all happy. And a lot of them are going to be vocal about it because it's Austin.
Yep.
That's who we are, right?
But if anything, I think the music and the live music and like the live DJs, it gives people something
It's
to
content,
talk about.
something to do.
Yeah, something to like. I don't know how many times people said, "Is that a real person singing?" Absolutely, the stage is right over there. You should go check it out because whether they like it or not, they talk about it, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. And it slows them down.
death
And they
metal
take a
next
look.
year.
Really, only the complaints are the people that are within the show, to be honest. as far as about the music's concerned.
Well,
yeah.
I remember a very long time ago, probably 15 years ago, where we had the same loop of music over and over. It was probably pre-Spotify and Pandora.
It was an iPod.
It was an iPod.
And it was John Can's mix.
I
It was about 3.5 hours long.
yes.
That's not long enough.
No,
And I
that's
have
3
to
times
say,
a day.
I have to say, I occasionally miss Pencil Thin Mustache.
We can add that.
That was on that playlist.
we have that power.
He's a big
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett fan. So
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett's entire collection was in that 3.5 hours. It was just a few other
don't
things
remember
sprinkled
that.
in. Yeah.
I know, for some reason, that music sticks in my head. Well, RV shows are absolutely crazy to put on. What have you guys had to do this week? I mean, all the RVs were out Sunday night. So
Yeah,
what's
what have
left?
y'all been doing?
What's left? You said you hadn't had a day off?
No,
Or you just
well, we have to go to the bank Monday and unload all of the stuff. My car's usually full. Hers is usually full.
Of
Get
money?
all that done. Of money.
Just
Rolls and rolls of pennies.
okay, like in duffel bags with dollar bills.
No, we have a bunch of stuff.
which bank is that and when do you
Yeah,
arrive?
exactly.
You want to get
Just
that?
sits in my car overnight.
Wait, like y'all bring an office, we bring an office
We bring
on
an
site.
office.
So we have a lot
bring
of stuff.
signs.
Yeah.
We bring PA. We bring
Yeah.
there's a lot of little stuff that we have that for each individual show that we keep, and then it's the load up and load in for us too. And then the bills will start rolling in, and I really haven't touched anything until next week because I want to be wide-eyed to go through that stuff and not just pay it because I sent it. So I'm just collecting all that right now. A lot of feedback from the dealers. We have really essentially 2 new dealers in our show. So a lot of questions from them about how things work, and just dealing with a lot of that, just to try to put it off till next week. And we also do, we already are working on Dale Diamond,
Yeah.
getting dates, getting space for that.
And that Dell Diamond is our fall show.
our fall
we
show.
do 2 shows a year. The fall show's a parking lot show.
Much easier.
Much
logistically.
easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
logistically. A lot of the front end stuff still happens, all the advertising, all the graphics, all that stuff still happens. And securing space there because it is an operating business. So we have to make sure we get dates that work for us. So that stuff's already started. I mean, they've been reaching out for about a month, and I was like, can't
Can't think
I'll talk to
about it
you when
now.
I can. It's not right now. So just kind of catching up, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll be back at it. Yep. Wow.
Well, before we wind up, I want to know.
Wind down.
Wind down?
I've already,
Did we wind up?
Don't make me wind up again.
Oh, no. Second Bloody Mary? Come on.
It would require a second
Yeah.
one.
Well, right before you guys got here, we unloaded our second trailer full of show stuff.
wow.
So it is all in a pile in another space.
Yes.
But it's out of the trailer, so that's progress, right?
We did it in white.
It's something.
Very
Well,
nice.
because we sold the trailer, so the trailer has to
Isn't
go
that
tomorrow.
a luxury?
Okay, so what's the craziest stories that have happened during setup, during the show, during loadout?
San Antonio show was so crazy. We kept a list.
We did keep a list of things. We
wish
used
I
to do
could
the
find
San
it.
Antonio Boat Show together. We did the Austin Boat Show and the San Antonio Boat Show and this show all within 5 weeks. And yeah, San Antonio and Austin were boat shows were often back to back. But those did not come back after the pandemic. We had a pandemic here. I don't know if you guys had that. We had that down in Austin. So yeah, San Antonio was wild.
That was a wild.
Like, why?
Golf cart chargers got stolen. Did you know that's a thing?
What? Golf cart chargers got stolen?
Year after year, golf cart chargers would get stolen.
Same people stealing them. You ought to put a little.
We had to have
little
security
tile on 'em.
at that building overnight to protect our show from the people that worked there. And I would go in. And the SAPD officer that was being paid a lot of money, there would be no lights on, and he would be asleep when I got there in the morning.
And did you still pay him?
Required by the building, things still stolen. It was pretty wild there. We did have some, we always have people bring their pets to the Austin show, even though the building doesn't really allow it. Service dogs only. We can't police that. Nobody polices it. A dog takes a poo every year on the carpet.
Did it happen this year?
It did happen.
Oh man, I thought we got by without
They
one.
don't pick it up. No. They don't pick it up. So
Really? What do they do? Just keep walking?
Uh-huh.
What do you think's going to happen to it?
They're going to call me and ask me what they want me to do with it. The building, I'm like, well, I got one guess. Then they ask me if I can ask this person to leave. I'm like, are you holding the person and the dog hostage right now? They're like, no. I'm like, then no.
Yeah, what do you run
find
around
this
this
person.
giant?
So sorry about that. Every year.
We had somebody show up and they had larger dogs off leash one time in the show. We had asked them to leave.
Leslie had a lot of unwarranted comments about her outfits this year.
Yeah. I need to stop looking so cute.
It's impossible.
Oh, dear.
If you guys
impossible.
aren't watching on YouTube and you cannot see Leslie, just know she's a fashion queen.
Well, I wore an orange jumpsuit. So I had multiple people come up to me and tell me I looked like I should be in prison. It was a prison
Who would actually
outfit.
say that?
It was so cute.
It was adorable.
I had like 20 other people tell me it was cute, but like 3 people wanted to let me know their
And then
prison
she just
opinion.
smiles
opinions.
and says, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not the goal.
We went to Starbucks at the same time every day across the street.
Oh, yeah.
And
I know, and you got me some drinks sometimes. Thank you so much.
it's the same guy because we were at the same time. And he was like, how long are y'all here? We're like, oh, tomorrow's our last day. This is Saturday. He goes, well, I'm off tomorrow. So I want to go ahead and take this opportunity to tell you. And he looked at Leslie and he said, your style is amazing. And I love it
very
so
sweet,
much.
yeah.
And I said, I'm standing right here.
Your style is amazing.
I was like, what about this t-shirt?
Do you have a TikTok dedicated to your fashion choices?
No.
Lindsay
And
can
he
show you how it's done.
Did not
right?
he said, yes, don't you like her style as well? He said,
Are you? He was cute.
I said, I do. Thank you.
Hey, but did you tell him you're really good at spreadsheets?
No, but I will.
Yeah,
I'm like,
just
I'm
saying.
gonna have
yeah.
an Excel off.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are so good. Do you remember the year that we got there for the second day to like unpack everything, and there was a homeless person sleeping in one of the trailers that was brought in?
We talk about it every year.
Yeah. That
So
one.
we used to have a
Like a
staging
staging
lot.
history.
It does go down in history.
Poor guy.
It does. Well,
We used to have a staging lot where we could stage RVs. The dealers could stage before they had to move in, which was luxurious.
Where the Fairmont is.
And now the Fairmont Hotel is there. So we would hire overnight security, who was a Travis County sheriff. He's a great friend of ours. But I'm going to do the shows. But he would watch all night, and he missed a guy. I think the door was on the outside, and it was poor Tony at Crestview RV went in to check, and there is a man in a hospital gown with like part of an IV in his arm, and he didn't know where he was or how he got there, and Tony didn't know why he was there.
Oh,
And there was a mutual freak out, and they both ran out. And one ran out of the center, Tony ran the opposite way, and we were just like, well, he had a nice sleep, I guess, but he was very confused. And that will go down in history. He was carried in, moved in the RV, and continued to sleep there overnight until he was woken up.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I remember that. That was
We had a
something.
fire alarm one time in the middle of Saturday Rush.
I remember that.
I remember that.
Oh yeah, fire alarm.
Like fire alarm, everybody left, or fire
Everybody
alarm.
has to leave the building.
Everybody
What
had
was
to leave the
that?
building.
I feel like I
was in
remember
there.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
we
in your
walked
will
out
call
front.
days.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And people just were like, well, I guess we're done. And it was in the middle of our busiest time on a Saturday. And we were just like, oh my gosh. And it was a stove in the kitchen set off an alarm.
So do you have to let everyone back? It's not like you stamp everybody as they come out.
No, yeah, we were just not real strict on the door. At
You're
that
just-
point. We're like,
At
please
that
come back.
point,
Please.
it's
Oh,
like,
please
anybody,
back.
come on in.
Yes, please.
I have to tell you a secret.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Is there a secret?
Should I not tell her?
You totally
Too
should tell her.
late now.
It's definitely too late.
Did you get a stamp? You bought a stamp?
No. What are you
Because
talking
they're very official stamps that we stamp people's hands.
No, I have
Giving
tickets.
people ideas.
No, I have tickets that I give to customers if I want them to come back.
Oh yeah, that's why we give
Yeah,
them.
why would I do stamps? Okay. So somebody started a microwave in our booth. And it actually lit the cardboard on fire that the microwave plate was wrapped in. So at one point, I turn around and I just see smoke billowing from the little tag that was in the middle of our booth. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I run over there and I open the microwave and I grab it and throw it onto the floor. It was on fire. There were flames.
Where was safety then? Where was our safety guy?
And there was smoke everywhere. And I was standing there
never
thinking
saw
like,
it.
oh my gosh, Jennifer's going to kill me. She's going to kill me. She's going to kill me. I was stamping. People were like staring at me. I was like trying to get the fire out. I had to pour my water bottle all over it. And I was having a water contest with Steve. And then I had to tell him that I didn't actually drink it. I had to put out the fire. And
Never saw or
there
heard
was
anything
soot
about
everywhere. It stunk. I had to get all these towels and wipe up all this charred cardboard that was everywhere.
Wow.
And then I cleaned up the microwave. Did you not know?
I
didn't tell anybody.
I didn't know the whole story. I did at one point. You ran in and said, "Oh, I'm so thirsty." I said, "Well, grab some water." You said, "I had to use my water to put out a fire," and I'm like,
Wow.
"Well, I got a customer, so glad it's out."
Good
Bye.
for you. Had you called me, I would have helped you put out the fire, the evidence, but I would have called the cleaning crew to come clean it up for you.
I just didn't want you to find
We're all
out.
in this together.
I didn't want you to be mad at me.
We had a secret fire.
Secret fire. That's the most exciting thing I've heard so far.
There was a customer standing there and she was like, you know, like the fire's out. And I'm just like, kind of, what happened? And she goes, I didn't do anything. I was just pulling out the cooler and then it started smoking. And I was like,
You
no,
lie.
this microwave had to have been on for like a significant amount of time for this cardboard to catch on fire, you liar.
Liar.
But there was a lot of smoke and it was going up. And I was like, how is nobody going to see this?
Nope.
Wow.
Didn't see it. Didn't know. Good job. Good job.
Hid the fire.
Crisis
we didn't
management.
burn down the convention
Totally
center.
forgot there was a
Didn't
fire.
Trip a lot of breakers this year. None that I heard of. We usually trip a lot of breakers because people will turn on the ACs. I didn't hear of any of that because they'll call me and then I'll call utilities. And then I'm sure it happens every year. I don't really get the report on that, but you know, kids will poop and pee in the toilets.
Oh, yeah.
You got one.
Yeah, happens every year.
And parents, I mean, I think it's little kids and parents that here, just do this.
That's exactly what Crestview said. They were like, their parents are telling them to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you put a sign on it that says, please do not use this toilet, they don't read it. It doesn't
don't
matter. They can still open the lid. Okay.
Did you have lost children?
Oh, we did.
We had lost children this year.
Multiple.
Multiple lost children.
Oh, it's going to be so scary.
Multiple lost children.
Yeah.
We had, we always get phones because everyone sits down in an RV.
Oh, yeah.
use
Yeah.
a ton
We
of
had some phones.
Phones get recovered.
Usually.
Credit
I've
cards.
gotten some great sunglasses from the RV show. And I did
found
not
those
get any this year.
Oliver People's sunglasses one year, they were like $400 sunglasses. It was
We
nice.
get glasses. We get tons of credit cards.
Lots of credit cards.
Wallets. Usually the wallets, the phones are recovered. And then I just turn in a whole pile of credit cards and glasses to security at the end because they're better off calling the center looking for their things. But-
Hey, just a pile of credit cards.
and on Sunday, it was just every 10 minutes, I was just chasing
Really?
to dealerships to get phones, it was crazy on Sunday. Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of lost and found.
Wow. Well, we didn't have anything that we had left this year that I know. We had a phone and then they came right back and got it.
I normally will
One
tell
phone.
the dealer to hang on to it for an hour because people will go back where they went, where they,
Right.
they'll
Hey, I
retrace
was in
their
this
steps.
trailer. Right.
It's like if they don't come get it in an hour, I'll come get it. Most of the time, people figure it out. Well, and I told Leslie too. I was like, because people complain about the same kind of music stuff, and I just tell her what I'm hearing, and she gets it. Like she's in there. She's like, I can tell the energy's low, but I was like, well, just try again next year. But it's a direct reflection on what's going on in the industry of what people complain about, what the dealers complain about. 2021, I heard nothing. Or 2022, nobody complained about anything.
Because everybody was selling.
But as things, they just start focusing on other things. And I was telling her, I was like, it's not as big a deal as some people are making it. I was like, this is just a direct reflection of what's going on in the industry. And Thursday and Friday is slower, and people complain all day Thursday, Friday. Saturday and Sunday, we hear nothing from anybody.
That's why Saturday's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love
Because
Saturday.
the dealers are quiet.
And the vendors. We
Yeah.
get our teeth kicked in for 2 days.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, Sunday come around, and the people come, and then everybody's excited. And then we can't wait to do it next year.
The energy's good.
Yeah. But it's always a reflection of what's going on in the industry, and we are that we take that and we know it's part of the deal.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? And then Saturday we're going to come back here with a smile on our face because it's going to be awesome. And you see more of Leslie, you see more of me. We're no longer hiding from anybody. We're like, oh, you guys are too busy. Oh, I'm so sorry. Call me. Yeah.
We're around.
It's really the 10 by 10s that, are the harshest for her. But
Really?
the dealers are, we all speak super frankly to each other, and it is what it is. And nothing hurts my feelings about that. Like, the music sucks. I get it, dude. There's nothing I can do about it for 2 hours.
But
I
also it's
totally
here.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry
There's
about
nothing
that.
you can do once you've hired them and they're there and they're playing.
Yeah. But I'm
It's
not gonna
like,
I'm not
oh,
gonna die on that hill. I'm like, I get it. You're right.
Right.
And change it as soon as possible, and I'll play Cherry Bomb.
Well, you really shouldn't die on any hill.
No.
Don't die on any hill. It is just an RV show.
That's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, we're not saving lives here.
And you probably have 8,750 people who are ecstatic to be there and are just loving it. And there's always a percentage of people who have a suggestion. I had a guy literally pull me into a trailer and say, I just wanted to show you this in case, you probably shouldn't have brought this trailer to the show because I'm going to show you a few things that are wrong with it. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that's noticed it.
Sure.
Did you pull out a clipboard?
And I said, thank you so much for showing me. We will be sure to take care of that next time. Well, great, because, it really doesn't show very well. I doubt that you, and then he said, I doubt that you'll, sell a trailer like this. It reflects on your dealership. And I said, you know what? Strange thing happened. This one's already sold. And on we went.
We had a comment.
And then I left him because it is just
It's about
the
your
need.
energy and preserving your energy at some point, because you got hours to go, and if you
Days
start
to go.
getting down that day, it's just gonna, you're like, okay, thank you. I'll
Right.
consider that. We had a comment. A lady suggested that maybe we should just group all the RVs by type, but she did understand that we had to group them by dealer. But it was a negative comment, like a 0, like a down on the square thing. It would be more convenient for us because we had to walk a lot.
How would that work at all? That would be
It would not
chaos.
work.
It wouldn't
That's
work.
not a thing. It doesn't work.
Doesn't make sense.
I'd be
No.
like elbowing the other sales guy.
It's just
Like-
No, that would be
Man.
100% full on fights. Like,
Oh yeah, I forgot. We already had one kind of fight with the sales folks, right?
Did we? Did you beat him up?
PJ,
me and
after that right after,
what?
just
What do you
that
mean, what?
one of their sales guys came into your space.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
And I was like, PJ hit him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, don't.
It's fine.
I walked back
It was more
home,
just a funny story.
and I said, is there something you need to tell me? He's like, nope. Nope. It's handled. It's been handled. It's okay.
I never
I mean,
asked
you
about
do
it.
I know, but you, like, she handled it. There's nothing.
Nope,
for me.
I didn't handle it.
Oh, you didn't?
I waited until at the end of the night And it actually happened in front of Caitlin. So I let everybody leave to go to dinner. And then I went over and told.
Yeah. And I found out about it the next day.
Yeah, because
and I asked him about it. He's like,
because I didn't, I get it. Yeah. There's no way to be in charge of all of your people and be sure nobody says anything dumb, or does anything dumb. And especially when you're as large as you is and you're pulling people from different places. And, I even try to be a little lenient on people coming into our space. We have a lot of other salespeople that just like to tour our space. Mm-hmm. It's more open. We're always happy to see them. I know a lot of them. We say hello.
You have very different things.
Yeah, our things are a little different than what they see on their lot. So I'm always happy to help them. But you don't come in and tell somebody that our trailer is trashy and to come see them.
Yeah.
I mean, there are limits to my tolerance.
But you have to consider the source too. And there are some dealerships that operate on a higher standard than others. And you're like, that's not coming from the top. Mm-hmm. And there are other dealers that go into other spaces and do that. And that's coming from the top.
Yeah.
They just operate a little different. So
And
I think there's the intention behind it too.
But like what you said, I'm not going to die on that hill and I'm not in charge of it. So whatever happens, happens. And then we're just going to move on and keep going. And,
it doesn't make them look good. It's not like somebody said, really? Take me where you want me to go.
Right.
Well, they did. Actually, they did. Actually, that did happen. But it's okay. It's one of those things where, you simply keep your energy up, like you say, and you move on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. When she found out it was you,
I'm just kidding. Fell out of my
she was like, oh, it's Paul. So...
Yeah.
Like, obviously, her and Paul have a super good relationship. So it was like, oh, it's Paul.
Yeah.
But I would have done that
with
with
a lot of different personalities with dealers. And I have a good relationship with all of them. I mean, it didn't come overnight. She and I and you and her, for those first 2 days, are the only women in that building. Mm-hmm. And so it really took a lot of years, probably less for me than for somebody else that's not as brazen. But to really be like, I understand your man speak to me and I do not care what you're saying.
Well, and I think
Don always backed me up 100%. 100% he backed me up. And so it made it easier. But there's a lot of ego in there and there's a lot of, but I do have a good relationship with everybody in their spaces. And I have no problem saying something to somebody if they step over the line.
And I think the reality is probably from bartending experience that I have as well. You learn that you have to say things with conviction. Mm-hmm. And once you do that, then you can level the playing field. And I hate to harp on that. I honestly don't even notice that anymore.
It's much better.
I just don't even notice it. It doesn't ever cross my mind.
It's much better. And whenever there is a person at the show or within the dealership range that is like that, they stick out like a sore thumb now. And I'm like, oh, we haven't met.
Oh, wait, you don't know me. You don't know
how this works.
I don't know it. There is one dealership that was there that I don't know who's there anymore. Mm-hmm. And I tried to walk over and introduce myself and I couldn't find anyone a couple of times. And I asked some people and I couldn't get a straight answer and I couldn't get there. So I was like, all right, never mind. Yeah. So, I think we've all been doing it a long time. Most of us know each other. Yeah. And I have all the respect in the world for the companies that participate. We all try to do a good job. 100%. And, wrangling the people is one of the hardest jobs at a show because everybody's out of their element. Mm-hmm. And everybody's doing things that they don't normally do. And they're in a different space. They're maybe repping a little broader product. I mean, and some dealerships put a lot of pressure on their sales guys 100%. To perform. Mm-hmm. So I get the eagerness and you just got to be sure you set the boundaries. And that was all I wanted to do when I brought up that incident was, this is not respectful.
100%.
That's all.
Hey, PJ.
Hey, Lindsay.
This has been so fun, but I think we need to stop talking now.
Well, I don't know. I could talk to these ladies forever, but they do need to go somewhere. So, and we have kind of rambled about the show forever.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Did you learn anything?
The format of this podcast was really ideal for a listener, but whatever.
We had fun.
If I learned things about the show, surely
Super
someone else did too.
uninteresting things.
I loved it. So, that's kind of part of what matters.
Yeah,
all the
PJ loving
important
it.
stuff.
As long as PJ loves
love
it. That's what matters.
I got to drink, what is this? A Bloody Mary.
Heavens, yes.
Have you seen how little she is?
Very tiny.
I got to drink a Bloody Mary and hang out with you guys.
I know.
Hey,
It
it's a
was
win
fun.
for me. And, I think RV show is going to happen again next year. We're going to all take our vitamin B. We're going to get all of our energy back. Is it kind of like having a baby? You do it next year and you forget how bad it was?
I do not have children. I do not know. Leslie can speak to this.
I will never forget how
having
bad
a wedding
that
every year.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because you're there's a big buildup.
was. It's
and
like
then,
stress, excited.
yeah.
What just happened?
You don't
Yeah.
remember a lot of it.
Yeah, you don't remember a lot of it.
Remember pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
I get to hang out with the reps. I go to dinner with somebody every night, a different variety. So I get to know all the people I work with. And then I get to spend all day chatting with people who like trailers and RVs. And it doesn't get any better than that. I just wish there was a day in between to recover. One full night's sleep before we start would be nice. Yeah. So that's my goal next year. I'll let you know how I do.
Okay.
Well, if you want to see Leslie's style or Jennifer's smile.
Yes.
My style
Or
is
a great
going.
t-shirt.
Yeah, or your style.
I mean, you got a Whitney shirt on.
Okay, that's pretty cute.
I knew I was going to be sitting next to Leslie.
I know. I mean, or if you want to look at our Bloody Mary glasses, you can find RV Small Talk on YouTube. You can also check out our Facebook page, RV Small Talk Podcast. And our show notes will be at rvsmalltalk.com.
.com.
I didn't know it was a podcast or not. Clint's helping me. Okay, bye.
Bye. Thanks for having us.
Yes. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Another RV show down.
Another
I
one
love
down.
it.